I'm Kiana.
And I'm Khadija with ThisIsRnB.com, and we're here with Mr. Butterlove himself, Hes Real, people. Yes, yes. Let's just get right into it, okay? You're more than just a singer, okay? You're a songwriter. You've written for artists such as Jamie Foxx, Luther Vandross, okay, Jahin, Ideal, and being on Tupac. Oh my gosh, Tupac, Until the End of Time. You know, what were some of those experiences like?
You know, it's funny because people ask me, you know, like, how was it, you know, when you guys are number one and blah, blah, blah. Truth is, I was so busy grinding that I didn't enjoy any of it. As I've gotten older and I look back and, you know, I'm on wonderful platforms like this and I get to talk about it, I start realizing all the blessings and things that I've accomplished that I never even think about. Because if you come to my house, besides when my wife puts up like some awards she made me put up, you wouldn't even know that an artist lives here, because I'm so busy wanting to attain more that I don't really think about those things unless I'm asked, which I love being asked because that shows people, you know, are giving me my flowers now. But I will say there are certain experiences that I've had in my career where I look back and I'm like, wow. Like the Pac situation, the Luther, even Jamie, there are different situations where you've gotten flowers and they were a little fresher than others. The bouquet was a little bigger. So there are a few that were super, super amazing. Like I had never, to this day, I've never heard Jahin perform any of the records I've written for him live. And I've written some of his, you know, best work. If I say so myself, you know, I think so.
We agree too.
It took literally, I think, 15 years for him to even mention the fact that I wrote his records, and it literally took me like 20 minutes to write each song. You know, it's like he mentioned it one random day on Twitter, and then the first person that I can remember performing a song I wrote, I had gotten tickets to see Jamie Foxx at the Fox Theater here in Atlanta, and it was right after Ray, so he's doing the whole Ray spiel, and all of a sudden he starts playing, and I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds really familiar. And he starts singing my record, and I'm not gonna lie, it's embarrassing now, but I started singing along, but I started singing it like, ooh, let me feel the raindrops falling down all over my love. I want it soaking wet all over the bed. I want the rain to come. And he looking in the audience like, be quiet, like, let me sing my song. And he sees it's me. And he goes, hold on, breaks the band down, and he points to me and he goes, y'all, that's Hes Real. And he wrote this song for me, y'all. And right now I have goosebumps. Like, it was one of the most amazing feelings I've ever had.
Wow. We had goosebumps just listening to you sing right now. So we can imagine what that was like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you got an opportunity to experience that, because you deserve it. And you deserve your flowers now. You do.
Thank you.
So that was such an awesome experience for you, I'm sure. An opportunity for you to get your kudos. Because Next has topped the billboards with some classics like Butter Love, I Still Love You, Wifey, Too Close, just to name a few. What songs are the most requested by your fans?
Oh, that's hard because it's a lot of records from the second album. When We Kiss, that's probably one. That's probably the most requested that we don't do, you know, as far as from the album cuts. That, anything, you know, the Jahin record, they know that I performed that at some of the shows. So stuff like that. But it's funny because in other countries, they know all the album cuts. So they'll be asking me for some record that honestly you haven't sang since you sang it in the studio when you recorded it, and you're like, you know the words? How does it go again? So it's just different depending on where you are in the world.
When did you realize that you wanted to be a solo artist, and how was that experience, and how did you feel? Because, you know, that's always a risky move when you're with such an incredible team to say, you know, you guys were doing well and it was kind of like, all right, you're going off on your own. So what was that experience like?
Well, let me say this, you know, having a 3-year-old, now I have a young daughter and a 24-year-old son, but my daughter put things in perspective. You know, people will say like you went solo and, you know, things like that. And she'll tell me one day, I want to be a singer, daddy, or I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a doctor. And heck, I'm gonna try to figure out how you can be all three if that's what you want to be. I feel like we put a lot of limitations, and what happens is we all want to grow. For me, my solo album was like college for me because I'd never really recorded besides like the Deborah Cox and the Best Man. I'd never recorded without my brothers. So it was really me learning to record by myself. But I never wanted to do a solo album, ever. But what happened was we were the only group when Arista did the changeover and they took Clive Davis, Mr. Clive Davis from his position. We were the only group with the project out. Like Wifey was climbing the charts. So we go meet with L.A. Reid, and he's like, "Oh, guys, I want you guys here. I want you on the label." But he didn't know any of the songs on the new album. We're the only group with an album out, or the only artist on the label with an album out. He's the new president of the label.
Right.
So we're like, uh-oh. Clive flies us out to his crib. We're eating like gazpacho. It's nasty. I don't know what, but we're out there with all of the execs that signed us. And we're loyal cats from Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? We come from nothing, so we said we'll be loyal. We're gonna stay. Wherever you go, we going. And we were promised that, okay, that means 2 labels will be promoting your project. So we get to the second single, Beauty Queen, and somebody from radio in Detroit hits me and they're like, "Yo, is the label beefing with y'all?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" Well, they're calling our station saying, "Don't play y'all new single, play Pop Your Collar by Usher." So our label actually sabotaged us. So I literally go to Clive at Jay. We're at Jay now. Like, listen, they're not promoting this album. I have a whole new album we can do. Let's put this out. And he's like, "You'd be competing with yourselves. You dropped your album 3 or 4 months ago. It makes no sense. But what I will do is give you more money than you've ever had in your whole life and fly you out to LA. You can do your album." And I was like, I mean, all I do is live in the studio. Okay.
Right.
I did it, but what's crazy is I did it in LA because that's where my group members live. I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, my whole career while I was at the top. I wanted to stay there. I'm a homebody. So they moved to LA. I went there so I could be closer to them while I recorded because I had never done it before by myself.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. What a story. What a story. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because people think automatically, okay, somebody got the big head and that's why they always wanted to be solo. I grew up with low self-esteem. I tried to commit suicide my senior year in high school. I always wanted to be around people. I needed positivity. I need reinforcement. That's my love language. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was always about for me. But I'm glad that I did it, even though it wasn't critically acclaimed. I feel like it has like a nice following, and people come up to me all the time. "I loved your album. It should have done way better. It should have done this. It should have done that." But for me, it was literally like college for me. Like putting this out, I had to learn. I'm in with DJ Quick. I'm in with the Underdogs. I'm in with Tim and Bob. All these wonderful people that I would have never worked with, and I learned so much on how to be a better artist.
Awesome. So you talked about your hometown. You recently went to your hometown and met with the police chief. Tell us about that meeting and what inspired you to meet with the chief.
Well, what inspired me was when I was younger, I was a knucklehead, and I pulled the fake pistol out on this kid and acting like I wanted to rob him, just trying to impress some girls. And then when he left, all of a sudden I see a police car coming around the corner and creeping, and I ran into my brother's girlfriend's house and threw the little fake strap under the radiator. That's how long ago it was. It was a radiator. and it's his wife now, but the mom told, "Oh, it's right here." I'm like, oh man. And the truth is, if it would have been a regular cop, I would have been an assistant, which means I probably, once you're in the system, things change. I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now.
Right.
But what was crazy was he knew the community. He bowled with my dad. So when I told him my name, he's like, "Well, you're Bobby's son?"
Wow.
He's like, "You know what? I'm going to take you home and I'm going to tell your dad." And what's crazy is I preferred going to jail.
Right.
I knew what was going to happen when I got home.
That's right.
Exactly.
But I wasn't a statistic. He didn't look at me as some dangerous black boy because he was in the community. So when I went and spoke to the police chief about who's a black man from the community was, you find me a kid right now that's not in a family of law enforcement that wants to be a police officer when you go there. You can't find it because they look at police as the bad guys. When I was growing up, it might have been a coach, a neighbor, and we looked at them almost like a soldier. We looked at them as up here, like endeared, you know what I'm saying? And I think we need to get back to that. but we feel like victims in our own community because a lot of the police, they don't have empathy or sympathy for any of us because truthfully, they're coming from some other place to come police here. They're brought to this precinct. They don't want to be here. They're around all these people they don't know. Now, if one of the programs we said we need to implement is cops get paid 1 week in a month, and instead of them coming to work, they go to a community center, meet kids. Because that way, if there's Tyrone and he's drunk on the corner and you pull up and he's wolfing to a cop, you go, listen, that's Tyrone. I'm going to take him home, make Sheila give him a cold shower, and Sheila's going to kill him anyway. We'll be fine. We don't even need to cuff him. Just put him in the back. When you have those kind of relationships with the community, then you're trusted more. So we were talking about ways to implement programs to show kids that, you know what, if you want change, become a police officer. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. Thanks for taking time out to, go back to your community, give back, and try to be a change.
You know, what's funny is it's something that we're supposed to do. It's a lot of things that I do in the community. It started with, I waited to after everything that happened with Mr. Floyd, and I didn't say anything at first. And then I posted a picture and nobody knew that I had made calls. My cousin is a state senator in Minnesota. So I made calls to figure out change because believe me, I'm totally with the revolution. Certain things needed to be done out of anger, but I got a 3-year-old at home. I'm not coming to burn down nothing and get accidentally shot by somebody and none of that. But I'll come and try to help you build it up and build it up stronger for my community. So I wanted to be involved, and people were like, well, you ain't doing this and you're not donating and you're not, and they have no idea. I always felt like you move in silence and you try to evoke change. I'm not trying to get a picture on Twitter like, look at me, I'm over here while they, and then I leave and get in the car. I ain't trying to do that. I want to see change for my family still live in the hood. I want to see them being safe. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, it's really important. You're not just doing it for social media. You're doing it for real life to have a real impact, which is so important. I mean, you can get 1,000 likes on something, but what does that really mean in real life, in the real world?
Exactly.
I just wanted to go back to, you already mentioned that you had suffered from low self-esteem and even tried to commit suicide. And it's really empowering to see a man of your stature and that you're so accomplished to just speak so candid about it. I really believe that your journey has already touched so many people.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. It's not too often that you hear men talk about their struggles, and they should.
Right. And you're right. It's therapeutic. I think my testimony is important. I think I love a good comeback story. I like seeing somebody persevere through something. So if my story can really influence one person, because I've seen kids that are going through certain things. I remember running out of Freeman's shoe store with sneakers on. Oh, this size doesn't fit. Can you go in the back, grab another size? Oh, I want to just make sure I'll keep these on while you go to the back. Then I'm out of there. I remember doing all types of crazy stuff. And I know that God had a plan for me, because if I got caught doing half the things that I was doing back then, we wouldn't be here right now. And believe me, I'm so glad to be here right now.
Yes, definitely. And we are too. So what is some of the advice that you would give people who are probably in that deep place and they're just trying to figure it out, especially in the times that we're living in?
Again, my love language is affirmation. I believe that's one of my major ones. Find people around you that will affirm your importance. I think that's super important. People that tell you, I'll miss you. Just to know that one person will be affected and will feel the loss of you not being there. I think that's really important. I know that we live in a time of no grace, cancel culture. People come on the internet I've always felt like social media was a place that people go to talk down on people that are doing better than them. And it's sad because they don't realize that we really are sensitive. We go through things. Just because we've been given an opportunity and have a gift, that doesn't mean more than being a human. So I think that the number one thing is having, even if it's one person that cares about you and will be honest with you and will build you up. I think that everybody needs it. It's funny because women have that one girlfriend. Oh, my man, he cheated. Girl, let's go. Come here. Come over here. I'm going to braid your hair. Come over here and do my hair.
Right.
We'll have a pajama party. You know what? We just going to eat this and we going to watch our favorite movies. F him. Dudes, we are programmed to be defensive and be like, oh, I got this girl. She got a friend. We pacify situations instead of uplifting each other. And I think that's why we need to uplift our Black women more, because that they're the ones that uplift us. It's not us uplifting each other. We try to find ways. Oh man, I got this chick. She got a friend. Or let's go to a strip club, man. Don't even trip off that. Or let's go get some drinks. Or let's go smoke. That will only pacify the situation. You guys find ways to build us back up and build each other back up. And I think we could take a cue from you guys.
Okay. So that encourage your new single and video, You Are, because that is very empowering and it builds up women. So talk about that.
Well, being 40 and then having a daughter was super life-changing. I used to laugh and joke and say, I can't have girls. I ain't never having no girl, and I had my son when I was in high school, and all of a sudden this redhead girl is looking at me, and I was the first to have skin-to-skin contact, so I was able to take off my shirt and have that moment with her. And I can't say that it changed me, but it did bring something out of me that was there, but I wanted to explore it more and open it up to everybody else. So I'm not afraid, and maybe it's age too, you know what I mean? Look, there's sensitive side, I don't always got to be hard and gangster for what? I'm a girl dad now, they say. So
right.
I wanted to do a record that she could listen to later and know that she inspired it. Because I got the horny joints, the party joints, all that, whatever. And we've always also had records uplifting, but that's never going to be the single, right, for the label. I wanted to do something that was, I guess, unpopular, and put out a record that was for women in their beauty, whether it's natural, whether it's wig, whether it's weave, whether it's a filter, no filter, makeup, whatever. I just wanted a song that a woman could listen to and feel the way women make us feel.
Well, you did it.
Love it.
You did it for sure. So we're just gonna move right into it. Our game, Write the Hook. All right. Okay. So we ask singer-songwriters such as yourself to just write a simple hook. We'll give you 2 words, and the 2 words that we have for you are soul and trust.
Okay. Let's see. It's times that I've had love. It's times that I've had lust. Something seemed to change when I found us. I give you all my heart. Give you all my love, give you all my soul. Girl, I give you trust. We good?
Oh my God!
Oh, keep going. No, I'm just kidding. That was great. I'm like, is this a real song?
I know. I was like, does he already have that song written? Because that was just too perfect. There's like literally gonna be no editing here, people. This is straight through. Like, there was no cut. It was like, boom, he is on. He is the man, okay?
Yes, I love
Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him.
You did say you wrote that song for Jahin in 20 minutes. It seems like it just flows from the top with you. That is such a gift. How do you normally just take 20 minutes to write a song, or sometimes, you gotta sit and really think about it?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. This is funny. I was a rapper first. I had a record deal for rapping before I was became a vocalist per se.
Oh.
And I had to make a decision early on which one I wanted to do. It was always quick for me. I would hear something that would be in my head. I don't even write anymore per se. Like sometimes I'll take a few notes, and I don't even know, as the kids say, no cap. I literally gotta put a song in my head. Now that I've gotten into production, I produce now a little bit, and sometimes I'll have to put like a few words, or I'll sing I'll point my camera down on the floor and press record on my iPhone and start singing. Stuff like that, just so I can remember like a phrase or something like that. But I honestly, I don't even write anymore. Like it's probably been a decade that I've like literally took a pen and pad and wrote. So yeah.
That's crazy. You're incredible.
If y'all want to give me some more words, listen, so they know we ain't playing. What you want to do?
No, you have them. I mean, we can give you more words.
Give him more words. Okay. He asked for more words. Give him more words.
All right, okay. Okay, all right. So comfort and air.
Okay, all right. When I come to bed tonight, I want to see you there. Even in your nightgown, wrapped up hair. Is there something about being inside of you, girl? As I find comfort there in your air. Here we go.
Like, people really can't sleep on you for real. Like, I'm just.
You heard it here. You heard it here on ThisIsRnB.com.
Those are two songs that you really need to keep going with, okay? When we hang up, put your phone down and you just let it flow. And that's just going to go to the roof. I'm just telling you, like, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I got two queens on here. I got to show up. I can't misrepresent.
Right,
I got to.
right.
You
Thank you. I just want to ask you about your song with Deborah Cox. I mean, she's an incredible vocalist. Like, her voice is insane. And your voice is insane too, for sure. And what was that experience like? Like, when you guys...
We agreed it was over and we were through. I'm trying to compose myself, but I just can't get over you. 'Cause we can't be friends. Oh, DJ, you know I can't go on being just your friend. I was nervous. It was the first time I'd done something without my group.
Be friends? Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go.
It was the first time I'd done something without my group. But it was, I had to record it twice, and I had to give credit. There's only like a few records that I've ever released that I wasn't a writer on. And people don't really understand, one of my favorite people in the music business, one of the nicest people I've ever met, one of the most stand-up men. And I've met a lot of guys that are not cool, that you see on camera, but oh, he's so sweet. No, he's not. I've met a lot of them. One of the coolest, most down-to-earth, humblest people in the planet wrote and produced with Shep Crawford, and it's Montel Jordan. He actually, he's on some of the backgrounds, I believe, but I was on tour with Boys the Men. I had to go to the studio in Detroit. I was by myself. All I knew was to go hard, just sing straight out. And it was like, that's good, but yeah, we need you to come to the studio in LA, and we're gonna coach you. And Shep and Montel coached me, and the rest is history. But I knew I had to represent, because Deborah, that was like the first, you know, you got all these women online now, such and such fit, they work out, but she always had like Wakanda arms, even back then, like super like powerful. And I was a little younger, so I was nervous, and it was amazing. The only regret that I have is that we only performed that record once. I used to be so jealous. I would see her and Kenny Lattimore singing it, and I felt like 5 Heartbeats. How does it feel? You know what I'm saying? But besides that, it was one of the best. It was the first time that I was able to let the world hear, like, okay, he can do a little something. All right, he can sing a little bit. You know what I mean? Outside of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That song goes down. It's a classic for sure.
You can sing.
Even before this interview, I had to admit, even before even knowing that we were going to have the pleasure of interviewing with you, I was listening to that song the other night, and I was like, oh my gosh, this song is so great, and it holds true to today. I mean, it's just like,
but that's the karaoke
song,
record,
right?
So I'll be somewhere like at a spot, and all of a sudden somebody will try to sneak and do karaoke with it, and it'll come on. It'll be a girl on stage, and she'll know I'm there, and she'll be like, and I have to fight it, because I think it's cheating when you do karaoke and sing your own records. I'll be like up there singing John Legend and Diamond Rio records. I'm trying to sing something super obscure, and they be like, and I'm like,
all right, come on.
Like, right. I'm like, no, get the bartender. Come on, like I want to say something else. But yeah.
Oh man, well, we'll definitely have to have you back on, and maybe hopefully Deborah Cox, we're calling you out, honey, and you guys can sing it together, you know, holiday treat to the world, because I mean your voices are just
let's do it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Some people might not have heard Butter Love before. Do you want to give them a little sample of Butter Love? That's my favorite song. I'll just throw that out there.
You're like my homie, my shorty. You showed me so many things, and you're so special to me. We've been kicking it for a while. You sex smile, prima donna style. Girl, you're driving me so wild. Ain't got no reputation, educated conversation. Oh, you got that bomb love. making. That's the hardest record to sing on stage. It's the hardest record to sing.
Yeah, I
Two
can't
reasons.
imagine.
Two reasons. Number one, both of the verses melodies are exactly the same.
Yes.
So I've been on stage and started singing the second verse in the first verse place, stuff like that. But secondly, imagine you're running around and you've been dancing. It's easier to sing higher notes when you're out of breath, but that's a lower register song. So I'll be like, we get to the end of the record and it's like, you got this, you make me rise. You got that love, wanna try. So you turn up and down. And because I go in the audience, and say, the love you make, I scream your name. And I wanna take
off.
Hold on, y'all got it. Takes you to the sun goes on. And we'd be like.
And to think, I thought the hardest reason was because you couldn't hear over the women screaming and trying to sing along.
Right, exactly.
So what's next for RL? What's next?
Well, I know, right? I got an EP dropping and I'm giving it away for free, but the craziest thing happened. I had sampled some of my favorite artists. I sampled John B for a record. I sampled 2 Jodeci records, but then I sampled a Janet Jackson record. And I was gonna just give it away for free because I felt like it's hard to have been out and have had prior success because I hate to say it, but in urban music, they want to throw you away. They want to be, okay, what's next? But then they're at your funeral, like, oh my God, he was so great. That's why, sites like yours are amazing because it gives us life. Without that, we wouldn't survive because a lot of times we don't use the streaming and internet the way a lot of these newer artists do with their fan base. So I was like, I'm just gonna get us away to remind people that I got a little something. Well, PJ Butter, who's an amazing DJ out in LA, a really big DJ, got to premiere the first single, which is Get To You. It's a Janet Jackson sample. He played it 5 times in a row. So at first I was just gonna give it away. All of a sudden I get a DM from my big bro from Minnesota, Jimmy Jam. And he's like, I'm watching you. I heard that record sounds good. I'm like, well, you produced the original. Maybe we need to get this cleared. And management hit me like, yo, people are really loving it, the response. So maybe we need to put this on streaming services. But I still plan on releasing the letter J. And that's why it's called the letter J, because John B, Jodeci, and Janet. Besides that, I wasn't going to do any new next material. We had done a whole album of like 60 records. And one of the members wasn't on that. He was like, you know what, Tweet's doing his meditation thing. He's doing other types of, music. And we were like, cool. Luckily you told us that because I don't want to put something out of everybody's heart not into it because God won't bless that. So I'm working on an album for T-Lo, my group member, but we're also releasing a Next by Nature EP, which is next to Naughty by Nature. Naughty by Nature discovered us. So it's going to be probably 5 records. Me and my partner, Brian B. Flight Cook, were able to write and produce like 4 or 5 of the songs. And I'm excited about that. And then lastly, I have an Afrobeats album.
Oh.
I wrote and produced it. I went to Africa and I was like, man, this is wow. And then I went to London. I'm like, okay. My little old butt trying to get me on. All right. I'm like, hey. I'm like, you know what? Maybe, it's fun to listen to new sounds and be influenced by it and create your style. So I call it Afro Sheets because it's super sexy.
Dang, we're here for it. Seriously.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait. Wait, where can people find you?
At home. I'm just playing. I don't go nowhere. Like everybody be like, how did the coronavirus? How did it do? I'm like, no, I don't leave no way. I'm up at like 4:30 in the morning. I don't go nowhere really. My studio's at the crib. My baby girl here. I'm chilling. But social media, I'm Just RL everywhere. JUSTRL. The site is JustRL.com. We're actually redoing it. It'll be done in like 2 weeks. I'm having fun. I'm just trying to learn to navigate in this social media driven industry now. It used to be you go to a meeting and they'd be like, okay, play me a hit record. And if you got a hit record, we can do something with that. You got a hit record, we good. Now it's, so what is your social media presence like? They don't care. It could sound like
garbage.
Listen, yeah, but not saying there's a lot of great music out there, but it could really sound really bad. And all they care about is you got a buzz. What's, are you streaming? Are you doing this? What's your SoundCloud like? And it's like, these are things that I'm having to reintegrate into my career and learn those things. And I want to, because I think there are a lot, 112 just released the EP. Jagged's album just dropped, and it's all incredible music. We just haven't learned to navigate this new way. We're dinosaurs, but listen, I got a big bite and I'm gonna figure this out. Somebody, I'm ready. Somebody,
right.
I'm ready.
RL, thank you so much for stopping by and speaking with ThisIsRnB.com. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying to make a change in your community, in your hometown, in this world. Keep speaking about issues that matter to everybody and affect everybody, because there's a stigma associated with, talking about low self-esteem.
Right.
Keep talking. You are helping people and you don't even know it. You're touching people. Your spirit is beautiful.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Keep making that music. Keep that voice going. The afro sheets and everything.
I want to tell y'all something. And everybody's gone and no one else is home. All you need to do is put some music on. Log into www.ThisIsRnB.com.
Hey!
Woo! And there it is.
Oh,
thank
my
you.
gosh. He's incredible.
You guys are so amazing. I honestly feel super blessed to be able to be on y'all platform. I know what you guys are doing for music and for artists like myself, and believe me, I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna text Deborah and tell her that she needs to be doing this interview for real. Like, I promise you I will. I give you my word.
Oh,
this is super amazing.
And then we will have to say, how did you get here? We'll say, it was all around. We told you.
I want you not to sing, please.
Okay,
She has a dope new song out. I think it's on We Go Love. He has a project. She's still super dope. People forget she did Broadway and she's been everywhere. And I think that when people surpass the level of, and I hate to say it like this, but us will forget when they maneuver somewhere else. It ain't like we can't watch a play. It ain't like we can't, tune into this station instead. But what happens is she went to the dance clubs and overseas and became worldly. And a lot of us aren't as well-rounded to know to go, look here, try this, listen to this. So we forget about artists of her caliber, but she's super dope and she deserves her flowers too.
Absolutely. We love you, Deborah.
And we will send them. Give us a call. ThisIsRnB.com. I can't sing it as good as you, but hey.
Everybody, you are streaming on all platforms.
Yes.
Go download it. Check it out. Follow my man RL. Peace out. We'll see you on the next episode of ThisIsRnB.com.